Hi, Polly.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm great. And here we are again. You can tell by what we're wearing that the holiday season is upon us. And I can't believe it's been 12 months since we started this endeavor to discuss and to learn how we, no matter what stage of life we are in, can thrive. Well, survive, maybe, and thrive.
Thrive after 65.
Yes. And so, welcome, friends, back to Seniors Can We Talk? And today we're going to be talking about this time of year, which is known as the holiday season, the season of light, or just Christmas season, whatever season you call it. We're just here to be a part of the discussion because we got to talking, Polly and I, surprise that we would be talking about something, but we just felt like this might be a great time to kind of shift perspective at this time of year instead of thinking about what we don't have or thinking about what we're not going to do this holiday, or thinking about how all of that makes me feel, we thought we'd invite our listeners to have a seat at the table with us. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, because we're just going to turn the tables a little bit today. We're instead of shining the spotlight on the holiday season, we're going to talk about some things that go through our minds this time of year. That it's very typical to become nostalgic as you remember this season of in your life, because we bring to this age so many memories, many good, some bad, some difficult. And so it's not unusual that we spend a few moments looking backwards and then wondering how this new season that's upon us, how we're going to navigate our way through it. And um, traditions are wonderful, but Polly was reminding me that life changes all the time, right? There's nothing
It
that,
does. And I think it's like it's a season where on one surface, we all are dreaming of having Norman Rockwell kinds of Christmases. And yet at the very same time, especially when you reach our age, there's been many changes that take place. The kinds of Christmases you had when your kids were 10 and 11 and 12 years old are drastically different from when your kids are grown up and have their own families and so on and so forth, and you may have already become a grandmother or a great grandmother, or maybe you're living alone,
yes,
and so many things have changed. And so part of us is looking backwards and reminiscing about how it used to be, and yet things are changed. So it's all about how can we accept the changes and the differences and yet still have a wonderful time at Christmas.
absolutely. So that's really what we're going to talk about today. Instead of, thinking about how it's not going to be, we're going to try to reorient not only your thinking, but ours, so that we can imagine what it will be this Christmas. And the only way to do that is to put us at the center of the whole discussion, putting yourself at the center, putting myself in the center, and Polly at the center. And I hope you know that if you're a solo ager, you're really not alone. There are 24 million adults ages 50 and older that are called solo agers. And that figure is
Be
only
me.
going up. And the percentage of solo agers is particularly high for those who are 75 and older, and living alone. And so you're not alone. And that's the number one thing that we want to get across. And if you are experiencing emotions, as we many of us do during this holiday season, that we want to acknowledge that too. It's okay. It's okay if you're, grieving. It's okay if you're missing what used to be. If you're
But at
missing,
the very same time, we
correct.
can also take responsibility for creating what we do want. in a new
Mhm.
way.
Yes. And that's what we're going to talk about today, friends. So, Polly is always really good at teaching me things. And because she is 84, right?
Well,
And so
actually 83, going to be
83,
84,
83.
but I'm also a solo ager.
Yes.
I live by myself.
And my kids are grown and out of the house
Mhm.
with families of their own. So we're navigating new family traditions and more families, and then less time sometimes with my own family, and yet trying to be more inclusive. So it is mind boggling. But I just want you to know that if you're a senior and you're feeling kind of isolated and kind of pushed to the side, and we'll let you know what the plans are when we get around to it, and that'll probably be 2 days before Christmas. It's okay. Let's let everybody have their space. But what Polly and I want to talk about today is when we put you at the center of how you want this time of year to look, it's going to be a totally different experience. So, Polly, what are some of the questions that we maybe should be asking ourselves as we sort of examine our emotions, examine our heart, examine our, living space, our arrangements, who we are, solo aging or whatever? What are some questions we want to ask ourselves so that we can have like the best season ever?
Well, I think this is probably the main point is to stop for a little while and start thinking about what you do want and how can you honor the past and so on and so forth. So one of the first questions that I would ask myself, and I've asked myself, is, what are the family traditions that you still want to honor? And for me, my family, I grew up in New England. And so the big thing was on Christmas Eve, you had fish chowder. And
Okay.
if anybody else didn't make, I would be making it for myself, just like I did for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
Um, I still put up a Christmas tree. Some people think it's too much trouble and they get a smaller Christmas tree. But the thing is not to wait till the last minute, but really make up your mind what is that works for you and for your particular situation, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever the holiday is. So for me, I still put up a Christmas tree. I bribe one of my children to come over and I have dinner for them, and they bring my Christmas tree up from the basement so I don't have to worry about it. And then I put the Christmas tree together and put on all my ornaments and that sort of thing. Um, One of my family traditions was listening to a lot of Christmas music, especially classical Christmas music. So usually I go out of my way to go to the Messiah if I can possibly do that, or go to some kind of a Christmas concert. Sometimes I do that with one of my daughters.
Yes.
Another thing that was always very important to me was the midnight service
Hmm.
because my dad was a minister. So going to the midnight service was a big thing.
Yes.
And there's where some traditions have really changed. Obviously, that's no longer how would I say, no longer possible because we're not even living in the same city anymore. But what I do for myself, because going to a midnight service really would be difficult for me to do at this point. What I do is there is a service from St. Paul's Cathedral
Okay.
in in London
Right.
that is usually done on either the PBS radio station or on the classical station here in St. Louis. And it's a service of lessons and carols.
Yes.
And I just put on candlelight and I sit and I listen to that and I feel like I've still had my own midnight service in my own way. So part of it is figuring out what traditions do you want to keep, but then what kinds of things can you update? Like for an example, um, no longer going to the midnight service, but I have my own little special sacred time on
Hmm.
Christmas Eve. And I that's just a given for me. It's a different way of doing things. Um, for some of us, it may be that we're going to travel on Christmas instead. For quite quite a few years, I've been traveling to New York for Christmas because I have one daughter who is a solo mother. She's a mom and doesn't, the husband, they got divorced. So I've been going, and she has three boys, which are a
Hmm.
handful to do for Christmas. So I usually go and help her do Christmas. So for a
Yes.
long while, I was doing that. This year, I'm actually going to actually be home. So traveling. And for some people, the holidays are a time where they want to go on a cruise or do something wildly different because maybe they really are at a point where the memories of a recent loss or a big change in family situation is something that they want to actually do something completely wildly different. And that's okay. But the whole point is to make a plan for it and
Yes.
find a way. The other thing is to find ways to just honor those things. Like for me, I have Christmas ornaments that are, they've got to be 50 or 60 years old because we used to have a Christmas tree and then we had a Christmas tree for all the girls' dollies. And
Okay.
so I
That
have some
sounds
little
fun.
tiny Christmas tree balls that I still go on, that I still put on my tree. I have some of the kids' pictures from when they were in kindergarten or ornaments that they made when they were in kindergarten. I still have, in fact, it's right here on my desk. I have, here is a little tiny penguin. You see this penguin?
Yes. Uh-huh.
This was made by one of my daughters when she was in kindergarten.
Wow. It's so fun.
So so I honor the past by honoring and savoring all those little ornaments and really enjoying them as I put them on the tree. Um, so I think every one of the biggest thing and probably the most important takeaway from our talk today is just figure out what are the things that really make Christmas meaningful to you and
Mhm.
find ways to do them. Last year, I sort of let Christmas sneak up on me and I didn't do it as consciously. And I realized that I have a whole list of Christmas movies. I have at least six Christmas movies that to me make Christmas. And I kept thinking, well, it's not quite yet Christmas be enough. I'll wait. And before I knew it, Christmas had come and gone, and I had not watched all my movies. I love White Christmas. I
Yes.
love The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Jack Black.
Yes.
Um, I love Love Actually. I have to
Yes.
watch The Grinch. I have to watch Charlie Brown's Christmas. There's Scrooge. So
When you're
this year, I actually put them on different Sundays and different Saturdays on my calendar so that I'll actually watch them. Because suddenly, we get so busy, we forget to include the things that really are meaningful to us. And I love watching all those movies. So it's to be intentional instead of just letting the whole thing roll over on us. And then we wake up on New Year's and we think, God, this wasn't the greatest Christmas.
yes.
Why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I wish I could have done that?
Yeah, a
So
couple years
making a
ago.
plan.
Yeah, a couple years ago, that's where it hit me. I just thought, you know what? What's Christmas look like for me? How do I want my house to look like? What are the things that I must have or see? Rather than looking at what Pinterest or Instagram or
Yeah.
TV commercials show me that my house has to look like. I don't have those kind of houses. And
Mhm.
I don't want to overdo. If I overdo, I'm not enjoying anything. But the intentionality of saying, I'd like to have a colorful Christmas towel in the bathroom. I would love to have a fun hand soap that smells amazing and a candle.
Or
I
a
like my
Christmas candle.
Yeah, I'd like my house to smell a different way.
Mhm.
And the last couple of years too, instead of listening to the popular Christmas carols, which I do love, but like Polly, I'm being very intentional. I want to hear something other than just what's on the radio. So searching out the Mannheim Steamrollers or a Pentateuch Christmas,
Mhm.
Pentatonics, which
Mhm.
is all
Mhm.
voices, or
Yeah.
listening to the whole Handel's Messiah as I'm driving in my car. You know, uh, who do I want to connect with this Christmas? Who who needs a word? In other words, so
Right.
I think about those that are going through some tough times or those that are really homebound now,
Right.
those that have lost many friends. Those are the people that I want to make sure that I make contact with this Christmas. So
Mhm.
I don't know if our listeners are catching the drift, but instead of sitting at home saying, well, nobody invited me to this, and my kids can't make any decisions, and they're having pizza for Christmas, and you know what? I love my Christmas cutout cookies. I'm saying, hey, this is about me. I want to come to this season, fill my senses, fill my heart, fill myself with what brings me great, incredible joy so
I
that,
even I make myself I have stocking presents under my tree. I am still a kid at heart. I still like to get up on Christmas morning and I make Christmas morning special. So I have, yes, there's things that I all wanted. There's always those wish lists on Amazon.
uh-huh.
In December, I look at that list and I pick out a bunch of things. And this year is going to be probably all art materials for my new art journal.
Yes.
But I can't open them until Christmas morning. And then I pop open a bottle of champagne and I make myself eggs Benedict. And I have my special breakfast. And if anybody else invited me over, I'd say, no, sorry, I already have plans because I love having my special breakfast and opening my special presents. And I do not want to have to get dressed and go out to somebody else's house for breakfast. Thank you very much. I like to be in my PJs and celebrate in my own way. I actually prefer it now.
Don't invite Polly for breakfast. That's my takeaway on that. She's got a plan, but that's it. You opened your planner, you have your wish list, you're proceeding with what you love. And I think what we find out is that when we get to that moment, that's where the joy is anyway, right?
We have to be responsible for creating our joy.
Yes, and we know that depression is normal at any time of year, but it can be especially a time of depression now. So,
And it's also a time of just great meaning. I
mhm,
know that when I am sitting there at 11 or 10 or 11 at night with my Christmas tree and listening to this beautiful music, I will have lots of memories of my family and
mhm,
of the Christmases past. And I will shed some tears. But I also know they're tears of affection.
mhm,
They're tears of feeling so blessed that
mhm.
I was able to have a wonderful childhood and
Yes.
wonderful memories.
Mhm.
And that's normal. It's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah, but with so many solo agers and then so much concentration on self, sometimes we forget that somebody else could use something. So I was out to lunch with some dear friends and I thought, oh, I wondered if there was a new shop next door to where we were eating, but no, they had a special place where if you were homeless, they had coats that you could grab because in the Midwest we have been gripped with a terrible or not a terrible but a
You
preseason
think it was
freeze.
February here.
Yes, you would think it was February here. So they had a coat rack out there. And when we think less about ourselves and our own lack and we cast a gaze out to see who else might be living alone, who's going through a lot, it can really change your perspective and pull you out of a depression faster. So I'm just telling you from a therapist's point of view that that's one of the things that can really help cure some of your
Help others.
yeah, some of
Be
your
there for others.
thinking lonely thoughts. So Polly and our lists are pretty similar, except for I won't, and I don't think I'm investing in any art supplies. I just don't have that gift. But a friend and I are reading a Christmas book simultaneously. We were supposed to start December 1. She probably started, I'm probably late. But anyway, that's our goal. It's a mystery. We're going to read it together and then we're going to talk about it. I love to look at antique shops, at the Christmas things that only come out this time of year. This is the only time you can snag up a few bargains. And I just love, like Polly said, the antique ornaments or glasses or just something fun to pique my senses. And I love to smell the scent of cinnamon and orange, especially at Christmas time, and even grapefruit. I just like grapefruit. So one of our family traditions at Halloween is cider and donuts and white powdered sugar donuts. Now, I don't know where or how my parents locked into this thing with the cider and the donuts, the white powdered sugar donuts. But when we would come in from trick or treating, that's what we would get. So we live in a subdivision with lots of little children. So, and we have our own grandchildren. So now we actually deliver white powdered sugar donuts to the neighborhood kids. And they said, we look forward to these every year. So, I mean,
So you created your new traditions
we took a tradition
from,
and shared
and
it with
you,
others. And I
mhm,
don't see a lot of grandparents always in our neighborhood. So I think we're like the resident grandparents, which is fine with me. The one of the things I've been really focused on doing, and this has been really for over 10 years, is to limit my gift giving, my craziness, my outlay of cash that can be over the top for me, maybe not for somebody
mhm.
else, but for me it is. And I think of the wise men and their three gifts. And so my tradition is that usually, it'll be three gifts, and one's fun, and one is for the census, and one has value. And so
Well,
that helps me to stay focused and not to be led astray by what I see on TV or on Pinterest or someplace else. And Polly and I last time we're talking about another way to get prepared for when we want to regroup. And that was, Polly, you taught us how to prepare an analog bag, how to get things together in a tote bag or a bag that sits by your chair or when you travel, filled with things that are not electronic so that we can get in touch with ourselves.
not only that, but I happen to have on my desk because I was talking with I have a mastermind group, people who have graduated from my courses, and here is a analog bag in a book.
Oh, really? A
It
book
is
that takes its
amazing.
time.
I came across it. It's called A Book That Takes Its Time, An Unhurried Adventure in Creative Mindfulness. The book is filled with all kinds of projects that you can do. For instance, in the very front, I'll just show you. In the front, there's a section where you put up, it's called Beautiful Moments, and you write out these different moments, and then you tear them out of this book and put them in a jar for when you feel sort of down and you want to take out something that cheers you up. There is a whole section. This has an art thing in it, and it all folds out. I mean, it is filled with projects and takeouts and tearaways and all kinds of different activities for somebody to do.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. And it is available on Amazon, I'm sure. And it's called, as I said earlier, A Book That Takes Its Time. And it was actually originally written, I think, in either Denmark or Netherlands, because the
Oh,
two
okay.
people who wrote it, one is called, let me think, Laura Smit, SMIT, and Astrid von Hurst. So,
Yes.
but yes, give yourself a present. It doesn't have to be this, but get yourself presents. Don't be waiting for somebody else to do it for you.
Oh, there you go. A present that only you can love, right? Something that's meaningful and heartfelt. And that's a
Yes.
really great way to beat the holiday blues. So, takeaways for today is
Make a plan
make a plan and be intentional and don't let the world tell you what your holiday needs to look like. And it's
and
okay to
think about what
feel.
makes it really, what would make it really something that memorable for you. What are the things that make it special for you and things that you would like to do? And if you anticipate that there's going to be some kerfuffle about who's going to do what to who and go where to where, just settle that in advance or just remove yourself.
Oh, so I'll share what Polly shared with me so that when she's talking about the kerfuffle, she knew that she was going to be alone for Christmas this year. And she knew how she would feel about that. And so she decided, I'm speaking in front of you about you. That's real awkward and weird, but I know you, so I can do that. But I love Polly for what she does. And she said, I knew I would be alone, which was going to be fine. I understood that my children had plans and I knew that this is what they were going to do. So she said, I started planning the best holiday ever. And now, guess what? They want to come to be in St. Louis.
So now one munch is coming in from New York. And now everybody's trying to figure, well, who's going to have dinner at whose house and who's going to have what for dinner and when are they arriving and blah, 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 blah. And I just thought, I'll let them figure it out.
Yeah, but don't call Polly for breakfast. She's already got plans and it's
My
going to be
breakfast is planned. I'm not
champagne.
getting dressed at 8 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day to go to somebody else's houses. Love you all, but
Yes, yes, yes. So I think one of the things that comes to mind is be that kind of person that people want to be around. Be that kind of person who brings something to the table. Polly brought her own Thanksgiving dinner to her vegetarian
oh
kids.
yes, that's just
And-
another example. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I have a daughter who's vegetarian, and it turned out that that's where I was going for Thanksgiving dinner. And I thought, well, I could just go to the deli and get a few slices of turkey to bring with me. And then I thought, no, I remember how great it was to make a real turkey. And I love to cook. I am going to make myself, and there's a mini butterball turkey that they make now. It's about 8 pounds. I made the whole turkey, the dressing, stuffing, the gravy, everything, because I wanted to have my, and then I brought that over to my daughters too. So, it just be aware of what are the things that you miss and find ways to implement them or add them to your existing situation in whatever way, big or small. It might be a miniature version of what you used to do, but just be aware of the things that really make it meaningful to you and find ways to bring that into the present.
Absolutely. I was thinking about when we do that because I have kind of a busy schedule. I'm kind of semi-retired. I also have
Mhm.
podcast. Polly and I do I mean, there's just stuff that I'm doing, but I will make time in my calendar for things that I really want to do. Like, even though I had a broken foot last year, I still made Christmas cutout cookies. And, I have a
Oh,
lot of
that's
fun.
right. You have to,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah, but
that.
I love it. And then my granddaughter helped me with helping cut out, and then she and grandpa were on the sprinkle detail, and those sprinkles went everywhere. But I did not mind cleaning them up. But they had fun being on the sprinkle team. So
Yeah.
I would ice and then they would sprinkle. And so then she got to take some home. So I will make time for those things because if I don't, I feel like I cheated myself out of something. And remember that you're really the only one who can really fill your bucket, right? And so
Exactly.
very
Stop
important.
waiting around for somebody else to magically realize what it is that's going to make special for you.
And I love that Polly's enthusiasm, and I know that's really catching. So we want to wish you the best holidays ever. And don't forget to share Seniors Can We Talk
Mhm.
with your friends and family this season. And please be looking for future episodes.
Yes. I have a suspicion that our next one will be about New Year's resolutions.
Oh man, we did that last year. I wonder.
National Quitters Day.
Yeah. We'll text you all. We'll put something out on National Quitters Day. All right. We'll be looking forward to seeing you
Okay.
in the new
All
year, friends. Thanks,
right.
Polly.
Happy holidays to everybody, and thank you for listening to us.
Yes. Are you interested in learning more about tiny habits? Look for Polly Lemire at thrive-after65.com. You can learn more about aging in place, strategies, and answers by looking for my podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.